and welcome to another Media Watch. Media Watch is an initiative the Media Association of Solomon Islands, MASI, where we bring him come together. I've got the journalists and I've got the senior ones play me, I've got the newsrooms, I've got the media companies play me, come for share them a little bit insights, lo waka work at the dream, and also share them some story, or one them got the dream inside, lo got the respective media companies, we got the waka lo hem. And with the Milo panel lo today, you may get Alfred Sasako, who is Chief of Staff of Solomon Star newspaper. Thank you so much, Alfred, for joining us lo Media Watch this fall time. He'll be our only panelist for Media Watch lo this fall time, and he'll be sharing with us some insights where hemi garem lo waka, where hemi dream, and of course some challenges where hemi continue to face with him, especially for carrying out news for you Milo country. And of course, me host and moderator blame Milo this fella show, Gina Kekia. Thank you to us. Hope I will stop with me fella lo this fella program. Well, Alfred, once again, welcome to Media Watch. It's good to have you back again. This time, not because any story what you're doing, but because we are here to share some of the highlights, Lord Waka, what you're doing, especially this for the past week and hem go finish. And Alfred, what would be an issue or topic you would like to share with our audience, Lord Media Watch, Lord this for the time?
Yeah, thank you, Gina. I think one of the challenges that perhaps will continue for you may face him is what has become apparent over the last few months, and I think it will continue, and that is the fact that media, one of the mandates blocked is to ask questions. Unfortunately, on the other side of the coin, people who are supposed to be providing answers to those questions are not talking to us. And this one now a major challenge. And in the end, journalists get the flogging, or journalists become the whipping boy for everyone, accusing them of not balancing their stories and things like that. And it's a sad thing because I think the media provides a halfway house, so to speak, in addressing a lot of issues. As you may sabe, staka people below Yumi Solomon Islands, o katano garim access, direct access for talk with them, for example, politicians blokata, MPs blokata, or for talk with them, o kata big man, lo hospital, lo judiciary, for example, yeah? And so the only way many of them rely or get them information now is through the media. So if one side of the coin is not talking, then we have a problem on our hands. I think that's one of the biggest challenges when we look in today. Why now? Or katia no tok, yeah? Because an informed nation is a nation that talks to itself, yeah? So media seem to be the only medium where we start law naraside and ask him question on behalf of members of the society, or the issues here, what is happening. Okay, at the moment, the only people we be looking at talk essentially is the Honorable Prime Minister, very focusing on the COVID-19 and the impact it has on and what we need to do. And of course, the Ministry of Health and Medical Services. They seem to be the only two, but, and there are other ministry where other issues they need to, talk about. Yeah, for example, this one, a lot of issues and allegations made against the ministries, Ministry of Lands, for example, just this week or last week, the sheriff of the High Court and the police, they go for execute him now. This for eviction order for people who move out from houses here now.
Any response?
No more.
Oh, there was an article where if I dream, was it? If I not dream where the minister blow environment was it? Was it the Minister of Environment where him make him a little bit
Yes, he was complaining, Minister of Environment, and I was there, and sadly, it's a it's an issue that it's a sorry one. Yeah, first of all, affecting the families. They thought they had bought a site there to settle, only to find that, hey, sorry, land lost several people here. Now, these are the things. Then it raises a whole lot of other questions, like, okay, Manebaem, how long ago has he kept the title? What has he done on it? Because under the law, after you grant him a title law, you must start developing within 18 months here. That's 1.5 years. Now, if nothing is done, the government has every right under the sun for forfeiting land here. Why now not doing? Why them not difficult?
So those answers
were not being provided.
But you've asked him.
We did ask, and the fact that even the minister himself say, "I'm a Mival come in, and Mival now start for development area. So why can't we be given, an opportunity to do that?" So this is the thing. Okay, then it has a connection to the High Court, where I apply for staying this for eviction order. But so far, High Court of Nahiramit, Why?
Okay.
These are the questions. Yeah.
No good because of the state of emergency. That's the way I got afraid for Toklo media, or?
Well, unfortunately, I can't answer it. Yeah. We can only guess what might be the problem. But I think they have a responsibility. When you take on public offices, you assume responsibility in explaining issues that him no clear to public, so that they know that this is what's happening. Or sadly, this afternoon when I drove down for Yumi Kamla program, you look in one fellow man, him just put a roof floor house plan. He started taking down those roofs. That must be very painful for Kada. So, what now Commissioner of Land is doing in relation to, why now Maniano developing land here, according to the Minister for Environment, and by land here over 37 years ago. Why now I'm not doing? I think, and again, I'm guessing, I think part of the problem where Office Law Commission of Lands in Karen is the fact that one or two of the board members law land board, they were ex-commissioner of lands, and they would have been one way or the other seen to be responsible for some of those decisions. So it'd be very interesting for what to come out and explain it to us.
So you were saying that there's not much dialogue or communication between people of power, especially public officers, where some are able to speak, and the media.
That's correct.
Okay. And most times, some folks have said that they've lost trust in the media. Do you think that would be a valid reason?
I don't know that is a valid reason, because the same thing could be said to against them too. Okay, Mivala maybe you're not trusting Mivala, but increasingly people are not trusting you either. So it's a two-edged sword, so to speak. You tell them kalau naramanya something a point come lo you too. Why now you not talk? That kind of thing. And it makes the work of journalists very difficult. And the other thing which I want to point out is the fact that, and I'm sure many people who are the Garem TV sets in their homes, or to look him now, this for investigative program blow Stephen Saka, where he interviewing people, and he asked hard questions. And like I said before, when you take on the responsibility of a public office, you must expect to be asked hard questions. It may not be easy, but these are the things where people need to know. Need to know. Like as a result of our story, for example, on the land thing, one fellow community member me asked the question, where now they get them extra selling to buy land or same, when their salary is also normal and the pressure from constituency also. How now? What to take him and when now take him selling no same. Yeah, kind of same. So legitimate question, but questions that do not defy explanation. I think there are explanations for it, but it can only come from them. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. So usually getting answers to that kind of questions, go if you not get them the story, him just go away, and the people, are deprived of the right law information where I got need for survey because it deals with public funds.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge, especially for the media, accessing people forgot to speak. What usually now responsive for survey get them no comments or not even an acknowledgement, or what do you use? What sort of medium? You call or you email or you face to face try for doing interview or?
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me say that it's not an easy job for the Karem, yeah? Especially at this time when there's so much going on, yeah? But at the same time, one of me experiencing personally, I think you may are journalist, you may Karem different responses. For me, in most times, I do not get any response at all. And that could either be due to number one, EPS here, I'm not passing on message to the minister or to the PS. Number two, because they fear that, and I'm assuming here, they fear that what they say could be misconstrued, by what they explaining wrong, yeah, kind of say. And so, very important for, there must be an understanding on the two levels of responsibility Imigarem, because after all, there is only one common denominator. That's the people. We want to serve them. And we serve them on different levels. But, I think information is very critical. Yeah.
No good to say, hey, Alfred, no good to twist him story mo.
Could be, yeah, that could be. But I'm glad that in many instances where stories me write them, it kept the nation talking. And when I say talking, I mean some criticizing what I read, and that's good because it's drawing, it drawing that response. They are criticizing it because it's probably getting closer to one him what I don't like for him come out publicly. Yeah, that kind of thing. Like, for example, we have done a few investigative articles on MID. Yeah. And the other day, the latest article we did, someone actually came up to Solomon Star and was trying to, was very angry, aggressive with him over the section Blomival law accounts and law admin office. So I said to them, next time, don't do that. Just get his phone number or her phone number and give it to me talk to him, because I want his side of the story, yeah? So where now? Story I'm wrong, yeah? That kind of thing. There's a lot of money being misused, I think, in not only in the MID in terms of the contracts of giving, but in other sectors too, yeah? Like all those things. So, very important for we as a media, we recognize the importance of getting accurate information. Now, when you use the word accurate, it's sort of subjective, yeah? It's subjective to the fact that in whose reckoning, whose standard, now I'm accurate. Because some people tend to think that they want to use the media, as a bulletin board for one more message or like get them across. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. But you must remember that there are always, and there will always be, two sides to a story. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you. And yes, you're watching Media Watch. Media Watch, I mean, one for the initiative, the Media Association of Solomon Islands, MASI, and lo panel blo yemilo this for the Media Watch this time, yemigarem Alfred Sasako. And yes, Alfred, speaking of newsroom Solomon Star, you've mentioned earlier to me about the one for the initiative, where you fala take him, we got from the challenges, we come to a story where you share him about him, a change where him happened in the paper, where there's an initiative taken by the newsroom for highlighting COVID-19. If you share for me what that initiative is.
Yes, just this week we discussed the idea of dedicating a full page on COVID-19 stories. Okay, and in that page we would also draw data or information from WHO, for example, on how many people die around the world, how many have been infected with the virus, and other stories from the region and also around the world. Yeah, we think it's important that we are kept abreast of what is going around, what is going on around us in terms of this sickness, which the COVID-19 has become a common denominator in terms of enemies. Everywhere around the world focuses on COVID-19, how to handle it. And so far, our country, and thanks to the government for doing what it is doing, but I think they need to do a little bit more, for our people. And so that we've decided on doing that to give a balance in terms of information coming from certain sectors of the international community, and using it just to demonize others, which personally I don't believe is the correct approach. In my view, the correct approach is to find a common ground to attack that thing. So it's there, and we believe that maybe the Ministry of Health should own the page, pay for it, of course, and it's something that will be dedicated to the COVID-19.
How na coverage brief on COVID-19 so far, especially for the paper? It's all over, or
Gina, like you and other news organizations, we depend very much on what is being thrown at us. Previously, we, as you would recall, we would hold a news conference with the committee members. That has now stopped, it seems. And so there's no opportunities to ask any question, even if there are glaring questions to ask. Instead, we focus solely on what is being conveyed to us in media statements, in speeches, and all that.
And the Prime Minister's speech, is it still published in the paper or no longer published in the paper?
Well, I think from time to time, but I think
not consistent too? Or?
I think part of the problem is there seem to be, the cash flow problem has also affected payments of bills.
Also.
So I think that has thrown in some problems in the thing. Because right now, even the big companies are finding it very difficult. We did a story the other day where, a credit corp has repossessed 2 cargo and passenger boats because, it's a further sign that the pandemic is biting even harder into businesses. So,
and as a newspaper company where advertisement advertisement basically is the main revenue for the paper, and businesses are affected as well. And now services block government, like example, they pay for the Prime Minister's statement. I think for out of all the media, I think SIBC would be the only medium that benefits from support where I'm come from government, basically because of
subvention.
And not only that, of its nationwide coverage. So they basically use SIBC, like even the Prime Minister's statement, the talkback shows, and not something and not free, everything on payment too, So when it comes to distribution of fare, one of them no more to or the other mediums, where some people also read the paper, but mainly the national radio have lucky a little bit lo time lo COVID. They were able to earn more because the services were kata provide him. Them na kata use him, and of course it's the national radio. So companies use him. Solomon Star Islands and struggle a little bit na to keep up.
Yeah, well, I think this is where this so-called stimulus package come in. Yeah, to me, the majority thrust of that package has been misdirected. Yeah, emigol or the entities that provide him anything, and I'm glad, in a way, Minister of Finance last week has admitted that there's quite a number of mismatches in the government budget. So maybe that's one thing. Yeah. I think I hope that in the event the government has come back with another package, that they look at very selectively on genuine companies, not companies that are just overnight ones. Yeah, they know they're giving us, what will they do? Nothing. So we over $306 million we spent in the last 12 months. What have we seen for it?
Should double na.
Well, I hope they make, we all learn from mistakes. So hopefully,
No, but it's sad, especially for small, medium enterprises struggling to stay afloat. They've been around for a long time, and they were optimistic two-time ESP hem go round, hoping that they'll be lucky to get a part of the pie.
The spoil. But unfortunately, no more. But I think in terms of Solomon Star, we're very, the company is very grateful, to people who continue to support in terms of, like you said, advertisement. Anyone who sabe about running newspaper will know that to stay afloat or to break even, you need 60% of advertising, 40% in news. Yeah. At the moment, it's very, quite a dicey situation here. And we think that government needs to recognize the important role and function that the media has played. And of course, MASI bringing up these issues. We're not bringing it for the sake of criticizing anyone. We are bringing it so that those in authority can address those issues. Because, society is made up of different sectors and sections and all that. Yeah.
Well, anyways, thank you so much, Alfred. It's great talking to you. Lo this fala Media Watch. Before in fala se babay lo kata audience play you me. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, I just say this, that we hope that those who watch the program learn some new things, and should they have any suggestion of maybe changing the format or suggesting topics to be discussed, I think they should come to us and suggest so that at least MASI as a host can think about those and reconfigure the program. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And on that note, Media Watch also have a social media platform. So if you go to YouTube, you will also watch this program, lo YouTube channel, lo Media Association of Solomon Islands, as well as lo Facebook page, lo Media Association of Solomon Islands. And it's also via TTV1 app, where one fala upload telecom television, where you save download him and you save go watch him got the local programs there. And I'm sure all these platforms got a room or section there where you save give him comments or feedback play him. So through got the social media platforms here, you save leave him got the comments play there, and we can see what you are also saying. But until then, Alfred, thank you so much for coming to Media Watch. Thank you, Thomas, for staying with us. Me fala hope, babay fala save stop with me fala mo lo next edition Blo Media Watch. And of course, I'm the host and moderator Blo Media Watch, one fala initiative Blo Media Association of Solomon Islands MASI. Mijina Kekia. Wishing you fala everyone a great week ahead. Thank you, Thomas.